Hello and welcome back to another episode of Over My Dead Pod. I'm your host today, Holly Spear.
This is Kate Carter.
And I'm Kylie Colwell.
And obviously today is my episode, and I just sent the girls our little PowerPoint that we do before our episodes, and Kate knows of the story, or she knows some of the story, and Kylie, I don't know, do you know this one?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
I'm very excited. This will be a good one.
I think it's going to be good. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So Kate and Kylie may already know this about me, but I have this like little weird obsession with the Appalachian Trail. I don't know. I just think it's creepy and interesting. But really disappearances in any national park in general is just like super creepy to me. This is a pretty niche little interest of mine, but I've been on the TikTok algorithm of mysteries and conspiracies in the national park or on the Appalachian Trail for way too long. And I actually just recently within the past, well, I don't know, I guess when I was in college, figured out that it's Appalachian, not Appalachian.
Yes. So Kylie and I will absolutely kill you if you said that incorrectly as North Carolinians. Yeah. But you can also think about it like both my parents went to Appalachian State University, which is in Boone of North Carolina. And so growing up, people all the time would be like Appalachia, which some people do call it Appalachia, but this is not what you're talking about. You're talking about the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah. And I got corrected by somebody who was like, it's Appalachia. And it shook my world, shook my being. So anyways, so I'm sure that everyone knows about the Appalachian Trail, but I don't think before I was older that I really truly appreciated just how freaking huge and rugged the trail is. So the trail is about 2,190 miles and spans across 14 states. So to do the entire Appalachian Trail to like hike it, it takes about 5 to 7 months. So crazy. That's ridiculous. Surprisingly, every year, thousands of hikers attempt to do this hike. And unsurprisingly, to me at least, only about 1 in 4 make it all the way.
Okay. So Holly, when you say 1 in 4 people make it, do you mean they actually complete the trail, or do you mean the other 3 are dead?
No. Okay. So 1 in 4 actually complete the trail. The other ones don't make it through the full trail. They quit for whatever reason, obviously because it's like super intense. So yeah, that's a good clarification. 3 out of 4 people just decide not for me, Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I think I could only think of like 2 people that I actually know that have done it before. And it was over months and months.
Yeah. I mean,
like 7 months or something crazy.
Yeah. Deranged, to say the least. That's crazy. So the Appalachian Trail is the ideal hiking spot for Meredith Emerson. Meredith is 24 years old, and she grew up hiking the Rocky Mountains. She was born in Charleston, South Carolina, and then was raised in Holly Springs, North Carolina, which is a suburb of Raleigh, and also spent some time in Longmont, Colorado. So she's an avid hiker. Meredith moved to Georgia for college, and she went to Georgia University and graduated in 2005. She ends up getting a job in Georgia as a sales associate and roomed with a friend after college that she met while in college named Julia. And they lived in Beaufort, Georgia, which is about an hour from the university. So it's New Year's Day, 2008. The roommate, Julia, woke up late to find a note written from her roommate, Meredith. The note read, "Taking Ella hiking. Hope you had fun." I think that Julia had gone out the night before for New Year's Eve. So Ella is Meredith's black lab mix that Meredith rescued. Yes, and she's adorable.
Ella, well, that's a cute name.
Yes.
It was a fluffy puppy.
So fluffy. So this was typical for Meredith. Like I said, she grew up hiking, and this was one of her passions. She loved to take her dog Ella with her. So the roommate, Julia, ends up spending the rest of New Year's Day with friends and does not come home until the next morning. When Julia does come home that next day, she's confused that Ella, Meredith's dog, is not there. See, the roommates had this routine where Meredith would go to work and she would put Ella, the dog, in Julia's room. and Julie would take care of Ella in the mornings. And this morning, Ella is not there. So this is weird. Julia calls Meredith and her phone goes straight to voicemail. Julia ends up going to work that day. And when Julia gets to work, she gets a call from a friend that worked with Meredith who told her that Meredith did not show up to work.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me just say something to you guys. If in this day and age, if my phone goes immediately to voicemail, something's wrong. Check my location. Because like it goes through even if you're on a call with somebody else and you have to decline it. But if it immediately goes to voicemail, ain't no way my phone ever dies. Now, Holly, I know that your phone dies every once in a while, so you're a bad target for this one. But
yes,
check my location because that's not normal.
If your phone's dead, we can't check your location.
My phone doesn't die. I would never. I have too much OCD to let my phone get near dying. So that mixed with the dog not being there, I'm already going to say red flags.
Yeah, red flags. It dawns on Julia that Meredith never made it home from her hike the day before. So she's super reliable. She would never miss work. She's the first one there, never late. She'd never be a no call, no show. So they immediately know that something's wrong. Julia then calls and reports Meredith missing to the sheriff's office. Julia then rallies Meredith's friends and they go out and start looking for Julia. The note that Julia left didn't tell where she was going or when she left, but the friends know that she's somewhere hiking, so they start searching all the spots that they know Meredith to frequently hike. They were thinking that she'd probably fallen or gotten lost somewhere on the trail. One of these spots is called Blood Mountain.
Inconvenient. That's not a good name.
Oh, yeah. Also on this map, we have Slaughter Gap.
Oh, look at that. Slaughter Gap is in the area of Blood Mountain.
Yes. Very unfortunate names.
Yeah.
I don't know about it.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't either. But despite the name, Blood Mountain is one of the most popular places to hike in the area, and it's the highest peak on the Georgia section of the Appalachian Trail. It is located within the Chattahoochee National Forest. The friends go to search the trail on Blood Mountain, and in the parking lot at the base of the trail, they find Meredith's car. So the friends have to be partly relieved because at least they have found the trail that she's on. They know she's an experienced hiker, and they think likely she has just gotten stuck and is waiting on help. But they just need to find her before nightfall. This is because there's a cold front moving in, and it's supposed to get below 0, and it's beginning to get dark. So the friends search and search all night. Nightfall comes, and they still find no signs of Meredith or Ella. The next morning, searchers and detectives begin their search of the trail. But 2 days pass, and there is still no sign of Meredith. There is a sinking feeling when it is discovered that detectives find 2 water bottles, a dog leash, and a police baton on the trail.
A police baton?
So like one of those like collapsible batons, metal batons. And on the ground, her card. It's a white male who has his face covered. He withdrew $14,000 to murder, and he will lead the investigators to Meredith's body, and they will take death penalty off the table. Later on, Gary goes to claim like, oh, it's actually John's fault. He's like, oh, it's all his fault because if I wouldn't have been set up and I wouldn't have known that they were looking for me, I wouldn't have killed her. Like he said that when he called his boss that day and was like asking to be put back on the job, he's like, if he just would have told me that they were looking for me, I wouldn't have killed her. I wouldn't have killed Cheryl if like I knew my face was already on the front page of all these papers, but he tricked me and he, you know, didn't even tell me, and I would have like spared her life, which is completely untrue, but I just can't imagine how John probably felt, you know, because it's like
he's blaming him for it.
Blaming him. Always somebody else's fault with these kinds of people, but yeah.
That's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's a psychopath.
I also want to say like that movie that we talked about, it was filmed in like 1996 or something like that. And he was already acting so freaking sketchy back then. There's no way that he waited 10 years to then kill somebody. You know, like you said he might be linked to like 4 other deaths and stuff like that. I highly doubt that he hasn't killed other people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's possible for people to get psychotic breaks, but I just really don't think that, I don't know. I just think that it's just probably likely that there's just other murders that he hasn't been connected to yet.
Right. Well, we know he shot his stepdad.
Yeah.
And I mean, he didn't die, but like, that's a huge, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the Murphy bed falling on him, he probably got some brain damage going on with that. But also, if he was abused, we know how, I mean, a lot of our people are previously abused, which doesn't make it okay, but there's probably a lot of stuff going on. And if he was super, super smart, like, I mean, it's a class A psychopath.
Yeah. I mean, we know the recipe for these killers, and it's childhood trauma plus like, you know, already having mental
injuries
and injuries and all of that. So he fits the bill 100%.
I think my thing is he's not confessing to any of these murders until he's like being presented with them.
Right. So why confess to ones that he hasn't been caught with?
Yeah. So I think if you went up to him and you were like, okay, we have evidence for like these other XYZ cases, he would, if that were the case.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't remember what other story that we covered that we talked about. Someone that was on death row and he was actually killed. And then later it was questionable if he was guilty in other murders. And I feel like that might be the case here again. If he is put to death before they figure out if he is guilty for these other murders.
Yeah. Just, I mean, at this point, fortunately, we're in 2023, you know, he's still in prison. They've collected enough DNA evidence so that hopefully if anything else comes out, they'll be able to match stuff to him, but we won't know, you know, that's just.
Yeah, there's the DNA evidence and like you can say it's him, but it's just like retribution for these families. I think if he's not there to say why he did it or, you know, the story of what happened is unfortunate.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. To go for the rest of your life not knowing.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. So his first mugshot that Holly put in the PowerPoint, do you guys, what's that movie called? Unfortunate Series of Events, something like what?
Oh, Lemony Snicket?
Doesn't he kind of like give you that vibe? Yes. Okay. And then his most recent mugshot, he doesn't look like a killer, but you said he's only like 74. The dude looks like he's 110. Like he really aged horrifically, which I mean, whatever, but that just kind of gave me a laugh because you went from one picture to the updated one, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
Good story, Holly.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe more to come. National Park murders, because I just think they're so interesting.
I don't know if you want to like plug another podcast on here, but have you listened to Park Predators?
Oh my gosh, yes, I love that one. I haven't listened to it recently, but it's such a good one.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I have only listened to like a couple of them.
Park Predators. I think it's like a Delia D'Ambro. I think that's her last name. She works with Ashley Flowers from Crime Junkie, and their podcasts are always really awesome. So yeah, plug. Wow, love that plug.
Do you guys want to jump right into overtime?
Yes. So we are going to jump into our overtime today, and I think Kylie has a update that she hasn't told us about yet.
I have a little anniversary.
And we don't know what it is, so
we don't know what it is. You will. Probably not a good one. Oh. This Saturday, November 18th, will be 45 years since the Jonestown Massacre, where 918 people committed suicide.
45 years?
45 years.
No, no way I would have put that together. Like that is...
no. I was thinking like something of our like friendship anniversary. I was like, oh, it's gonna be so cute.
Yeah, it's a cute little anniversary.
It's freaking morbid.
Well, this all started because I found this website. It's a British website, and they have every day they have like a calendar that like updates this like true crime news, like on this day in history or whatever. And I'm like scrolling through. I'm like, oh, what's coming up? I was like, oh yeah, the Jonestown Massacre, Saturday.
Kinds of holidays Kylie has on her calendar.
Yeah, really. Great. Okay, well, I hope my child's not born on Saturday because that's just going to be really bad for the rest of her life. But we've totally talked about this massacre, right?
I don't know if we've talked about it on the pod.
Okay, well, maybe we won't go into much detail because somebody might do it. But if you haven't...
wait, are you? Because I'm not doing it because that's like a 10-hour episode.
Okay, well, it might be on someone's list for the future. But if you haven't heard of this massacre, let's just... all I'm going to say is 900 people died, apocalyptic cult. That's all you get it. It's crazy.
Absolutely bananas.
God, the picture. I just looked up some pictures too. It's absolutely nuts. 45 years. Wow. That's crazy.
It was like a mass poisoning, right?
I'm not saying anything,
okay,
Molly.
I thought, okay.
Yeah, the Kool-Aid. That's how that got started, drinking.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. That was a really good story. Good for you. That's a good one. That's really good. So I bet that this was going to be edited out during our actual story today, but Kylie and I need to bring up the fact that Holly doesn't know what Chernobyl is, and we're just going to take this to overtime because I think this is really important.
Okay, wait, listen, I'm bad with like names of stuff, but I'm sure if you tell me what it is, I'm sure I'll know it.
I hope you do because this is my favorite historical event of all time.
So it's your
my Roman Empire.
Your Roman Empire, yes.
Chernobyl is my Roman Empire.
Okay. She thinks about it on a daily basis. So, Chernobyl, located in the Ukraine during the SSR, a power plant radiator exploded.
Is this the elephant foot?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
But how do you not know the name Chernobyl? Okay, so it didn't, I think 30 to 40 people died.
I think I know it, but it's just like, I was not associating it with that name. Like, I know the name sounded familiar and know the whole story, but like I wasn't putting that together when you said it.
It's on my bucket list. Number one on my bucket list is to go because you can do little guided tours. They have a hotel, little bar.
Kylie, would you do that? What do you?
I would do it. I would do it with you.
What if there's still activity there?
There is, but they give you like a little reader, and there's certain areas.
You're not allowed to go.
No, people go all the time. Before the war. Okay,
Kylie, people jump off bridges, and I'm not going to let you do that.
You sound like my mom.
Jumping.
You're not going.
All right, Kylie, you know what? I've changed it. Your future bachelorette, we're going to Chernobyl.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Holly, you're not invited.
You're not going either.
I'm totally going.
No one's invited. You're not going.
Future baby Amelia is going to be coming too. I'll put her in a little suit, and we're going to go. It'll be her first road trip.
I'm calling the authorities.
It's safe to go.
You just have to do your right. You just got to do stuff right. But there's legit tours.
Yeah, you got to follow the rules. They have the whole thing. I've watched, I don't know how many documentaries I've watched on Chernobyl, but there's one I watched about, they built this thing called the sarcophagus. It's like this giant like metal building that they rolled over the reactor, and the sarcophagus, it rebuilds itself and eliminates the radiation.
This is not real.
Yes, it is.
This is a real thing?
Yeah, and if you go on like Google Earth and you go look at Chernobyl, you'll see it's just like, it looks like half of like a metal tube, like on its side, laying over it. And it's basically like a robot building, and it keeps rebuilding itself and fixing itself. It'll last almost forever.
What was that? The really, really, really good Chernobyl series. It was either
it's called Chernobyl.
Is it HBO? I can't even remember, but that thing was fantastic.
Oh yeah. I think it's listed as like one of the top TV shows of all time.
can't remember where, I think it was HBO, but Holly, it's not a documentary. It's a formatted documentary, but it's a legit series, TV series, and it was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Like acting and everything.
Okay, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. It's like a reenactment, but it's like very historically accurate.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. And there's like, I mean, people obviously, like when they had to flee Chernobyl, left behind all their homes, left behind pets, stuff like that. And like, so all of the animals there are radioactive. Like you can't take any of them. You can't like help them and stuff like that because they're all radioactive. The homes are like all creepy and eerie. I don't know. I think it's so cool.
It is cool. That is really cool.
And I've seen on TikTok, there's like little charities that will go in and like little vets. They'll take vets and they'll go in and care for the animals and like neuter them and stuff.
Yeah, like they take care of them. I mean, they're trying to not have them repopulate and stuff, but you can't take them out. No, you can't. Not radioactive.
Yeah, all the puppies are radioactive.
Yeah, it's sad, but okay. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way because Kylie and I were shooketh halfway through the episode when Holly was like, "What's Chernobyl?" And we were like, "Oh my god."
My whole personality.
Yes, her Roman Empire is just destroyed.
Do we have any other fun events?
I might give birth soon. I might not. I don't know. So
yeah,
we'll
we don't care about that.
Well, yeah, that's boring. Actually,
yeah, we'll save that for the next. So I'll be the host of the next podcast. If I don't give birth within the next week, but
and that'll probably be Kate's last pod for a little bit, and she'll be listening. We're gonna let Kate have some maternity leave, I guess.
Thanks. Just a few days.
Unpaid.
It'll be fine. Unpaid. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll update you guys next time we record how everything's going. But when you are listening to this right now, I just had a big appointment happen today. I don't know what it is yet because obviously we record the day before, but we'll see whether or not I'll be having a child very soon or soon. So there's no other option. It's either very soon or soon. Crazy. And then we'll have a Over My Dead Pod baby, and she'll come and make an appearance, and we'll get her to do a little overtime segment where she just screams.
It's probably going to be our most viral clip.
Yep. You're welcome.
And with that, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Over My Dead Pod. If you want even more information, including photos and sources of the case, you can check out our blog on overmydeadpod.com. And be sure to leave us a review wherever you're listening to this, and check out our social media at Over My Dead Pod. And we will see you next week with another thrilling case. Bye.
Bye.